received a radio call of several shots being fired inside the location with a woman screaming.
Then he shot her, and then he put the gun to his head.
I swear to God, I didn't know he had a girlfriend. Like, I swear to God.
I was home, I guess, last year, and I got the call for the Devil Girls, like for this new dance TV series that was gonna be filmed in LA, and I literally was like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I want. This is what I worked for. This is it. Like, I was like, this is mine. Like, everything about it, I was like, it's mine. It's mine. It just is mine. And like, I went to the audition and I was like, nope, it's mine. And I got called for another audition. I was like, nope, it's mine. And then I got sides for an acting role. I was like, yes, it's mine.
This is Stephanie Mosley, a 30-year-old powerhouse whose jaw-dropping talent lit up every room she danced in. From the studios of Vancouver to the flashing cameras of Hollywood, Stephanie's rise was nothing short of a dream come true. She wasn't just another dancer. She was a star in the making, turning heads on VH1's hit series Hit the Floor and sharing the stage with icons like Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Chris Brown. But on the chilling morning of December 8th, 2014, everything changed. Neighbors inside a high-end Los Angeles apartment complex were jolted awake by Stephanie's terrified screams, followed by the deafening sound of 10 gunshots. In a horrifying instant, her light was gone, taken by the very man who once promised to love and protect her, 34-year-old rapper Earl Hayes. Reports say he believed that if he couldn't have her, no one could. How did a man his friends swore was calm, loving, and loyal turn into someone capable of such a shocking act? Before we unpack that tragic December morning, let's rewind the clock back to 2002, when an 18-year-old girl with a sparkle in her eyes and dreams bigger than the Pacific decided to chase her destiny.
I could tell they'd been up all night. They was talking, I hear the bath water running. He put it on FaceTime, he got back on the phone. I'm kind of getting choked up from this. So then, I said, why you calling me so early in the morning? How you know I'm up? He said, because I love you. And he said, there's something else you don't know. And I was like, huh? And then he reached down and put out a gun. I said, man, what are you doing with that gun?
Stephanie Elise Mosley was born on February 14th, 1984 in Vancouver, British Columbia. Yes, Valentine's Day. It's almost as if the universe itself knew she was meant to spread love, warmth, and joy to every single soul lucky enough to know her. From the moment Stephanie could walk, she was already dancing. This little girl had rhythm flowing through her veins, finding the beat before she could even string full sentences together. At just 2 years old, her mom signed her up for ballet classes, and that's when the magic truly began. Growing up in Vancouver's Lower Mainland, Stephanie trained like a warrior at some of the city's top studios: Pacific Arts Ballet, Kirkwood Academy, and Dan's Mode Productions, where mentor Rachel Poirier guided her every step from age 12 to 18. By the time she hit her mid-teens, Stephanie was a name people whispered about in dance circles. Between 15 and 18, she started stacking awards left and right, her trophy shelf practically bending under the weight of her wins. Judges couldn't get enough of her flawless technique and fiery stage presence. Everyone knew this girl was built for greatness, but no matter how much she achieved, Vancouver started to feel too small for the dreams burning in her heart. She wanted more stage lights, more challenges, more life. So in 2002, at just 18 years old, Stephanie packed her bags, kissed her family goodbye, and took a leap of faith straight into Los Angeles, the city where stars are made or broken.
I met Stephanie Mosley in 2002. She had just moved to LA. She was a part of a dance group called Best Kept Secret, and my cousin was doing her makeup, and I just thought she was the most gorgeous girl, and she didn't have any friends in LA, and she just had the dancer world. So I decided I'd take her under my wings, and at that time I was headed to college, and I decided I wanted to be a model, so we made a pact, and we decided that we were gonna figure this business out and become stars together.
She joined a dance crew called Best Kept Secret, and it became her gateway into the wild, cutthroat world of professional entertainment. And let's be real, Stephanie didn't just enter Hollywood, she owned it. Her energy, discipline, and passion set her apart instantly. Before long, her resume was shining brighter than the Vegas Strip, dancing behind absolute legends like Beyoncé, Janet Jackson, Usher, Mariah Carey, Rihanna, Chris Brown, Britney Spears, and Jennifer Lopez. She was unstoppable, proving that a girl from Vancouver could conquer the world, one flawless step at a time. Stephanie wasn't just dancing with stars, she was shining among them. Every move she made on stage was sharp, electric, and impossible to look away from. Her flawless precision and captivating energy made her one of the most in-demand performers on global tours, music videos, and massive TV specials watched by millions. She wasn't just a background dancer, she was unforgettable. Her acting career was taking off too. She made her film debut in Catwoman 2004, pulling double duty as both a dancer and stunt performer. Talk about talent! Then came her credited role as China in Idlewild, where she proved she had the charisma to light up the big screen just as easily as the stage. By 2006, Stephanie was already expanding her skills, stepping into choreography with that same unstoppable drive. She worked as an associate choreographer on The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 1 in 2011.
Stephanie was an absolute angel. She really was. Everybody she's ever met. She's brought so many of these people into my life. She's connected so many people together. And she's just loved.
And yes, she danced in the film too. Her name started popping up in even more major productions like Mirror Mirror, Sparkle, and Girl vs. Monster. Each project added another layer to her already jaw-dropping resume. But television was where Stephanie truly broke through. From 2010 to 2011, she played a recurring role on Hellcats, appearing in 11 episodes and leaving fans wanting more. Then came the role that changed everything. Asha, one of the fierce devil girls on VH1's hit series Hit the Floor in 2013. Over 14 episodes, she brought fire, passion, and heart to every scene, turning heads across Hollywood. Those who worked with her couldn't stop singing her praises, always describing her as professional, kind, and a bright light wherever she went.
Everyone has their problems, but if you're asking if anyone knew that, something would come to this, hell no. It was the last of what anybody would have thought. I thought it was a lie when I got the phone call.
Did she in recent days say anything that worried you?
Yeah, we share, life circumstances and what we're going through. And her life hasn't necessarily been rosy as of late. But I don't think, I know that I didn't think it was going to come to this.
Stephanie had that rare spark, a natural warmth and positivity that drew people in instantly. She wasn't just a performer, she was the kind of person who made everyone around her feel seen, inspired, and alive. Even with her fame skyrocketing and her name lighting up screens everywhere, Stephanie never forgot where she came from. She stayed deeply connected to her family in Vancouver, visiting them several times a year, always keeping her roots close to her heart. No amount of Hollywood sparkle could ever pull her away from the people who had cheered her on since day one. But behind all that red carpet glam and flawless smiles, Stephanie's personal life was starting to crack under hidden pressure. The spotlight may have looked golden, but her world was slowly filling with shadows. Somewhere along her rise to the top, Stephanie met a Detroit-born rapper named Earl Hayes, and at first it looked like a fairy tale straight out of Hollywood. Two ambitious artists chasing dreams, hyping each other up, and surviving an industry that could turn sweet one day and ruthless the next. On the surface, their love seemed unstoppable, the kind that could conquer anything.
And then he reached down and put out a gun. I said, man, what are you doing with that gun? He started shooting.
But underneath that picture-perfect image, things weren't nearly as simple as they appeared. Earl Warren Hayes was born on May 28, 1980 in Detroit, Michigan, a city famous for its raw rap scene and tough musical roots. Growing up surrounded by Detroit's unfiltered energy, Earl developed a gritty lyrical style and a drive that couldn't be ignored. Like Stephanie, he dreamed bigger than his hometown could hold. So in the early 2000s, he packed his ambition and headed west to Los Angeles, chasing that same elusive dream of stardom. His big break came through a powerful connection. Undefeated boxing legend Floyd Mayweather Jr. By around 2010, Earl had signed with Mayweather's label, Filthy Rich Records, which was built to spotlight up-and-coming talent. The label was managed by James McNair, known in the industry as P. Riala, one of Mayweather's closest business partners. With that kind of backing, Earl's future looked bright. Music, fame, connections. He was right on the edge of something huge. But as we'll soon see, not every glittering opportunity turns to gold.
Then he shot her, and then he put the gun to his head.
Earl's connection to Floyd Mayweather's money team instantly leveled him up. This wasn't just any crew. It was an exclusive circle of flashy cars, luxury trips, and non-stop media attention. Being part of that entourage meant his name was suddenly everywhere, and the exposure stretched way beyond music. He might not have had a solo album, but his collaborations spoke volumes. Earl worked alongside heavy hitters like 50 Cent, dropping bars on Double Up from the 2012 mixtape 5, Murder by Numbers, and linked with legends like Timbaland, Dr. Dre, Too Short, Black Rob, and even the Pussycat Dolls. Co-signs from Dr. Dre and Timbaland gave Earl major credibility in the game. He started dropping remixes and freestyles that showed off his raw, street-honed flow, like his remix of Carrie Hilson's Get Your Money Up, which got heads nodding across the underground scene. He had the swagger, the connections, and the grind to match. Everything looked lined up for a massive breakthrough. Then, in 2008, love entered the picture in full force. Earl married Stephanie Mosley, and from the outside, they looked like Hollywood royalty, two gorgeous, talented artists at the top of their game. A perfect match that had everyone saying, "That's goals." They weren't just a couple, they were a brand. Their chemistry was magnetic, their careers booming, and their life looked picture perfect. In 2013, they even appeared together in Floyd Mayweather's Showtime documentary 30 Days in May, which gave fans a glimpse behind the glitz. The film showed Floyd's inner circle, with Earl and Stephanie shining as the glamorous dream life couple everyone envied. To outsiders, it looked like pure happiness, a fairy tale wrapped in fame, money, and love. But away from the flashing cameras and smiling Instagram posts, cracks had started to form. Jealousy, rumors, and late-night arguments began to poison their picture-perfect image. Around 2012, things took a dark turn. Earl reportedly started accusing Stephanie of being unfaithful, and not just with anyone. He allegedly fixated on one name in particular, R&B singer Trey Songz, born Tremaine Alden Neverson. What started as whispers of doubt slowly grew into dangerous obsession, and that obsession would soon spiral completely out of control. People close to Stephanie and Earl later revealed that those cheating rumors completely shattered him. The accusations hit deep, tearing apart his pride, his trust, and his peace of mind. Friends said he couldn't handle it, spiraling into a dark emotional state that left him devastated and obsessive. One insider even told reporters he was crushed and never got over it. Behind the cool image and confident smile, Earl was fighting a storm that no one fully saw coming, a pain that quietly ate away at him day by day.
And that's what it was. Then I had to bury my best friend.
Their separation lasted for about a year, and during that time, Earl's emotional health reportedly sank fast. But love can make people take chances they shouldn't, and by 2013 or early 2014, the two found their way back to each other. Stephanie, ever the optimist, believed in second chances. She told friends and family she truly felt things would be different this time, that the darkness was behind them. Everyone wanted to believe her. They wanted to believe that love could fix what jealousy had broken. Those close to her, like Eva Marcille Pigford, who had known Stephanie since their teenage years, swore they never saw any signs of violence. She described the couple as having normal ups and downs, nothing that screamed danger or abuse. To outsiders, it looked like they were rebuilding what they had lost. Even Burrell Wilkes, who called himself Earl's best friend and life coach, said the idea of what was about to happen was unimaginable. He described Earl as a very caring and sharing gentleman, someone who didn't have a single violent bone in his body. Nobody, not friends, not family, saw what was truly bubbling beneath the surface. But here's the haunting truth. Something far darker was quietly taking shape behind closed doors. Earl Hayes never truly escaped the thoughts that had haunted him since 2012.
We received a radio call of several shots being fired inside the location with a woman screaming.
Those suspicions, whether real or imagined, had taken deep root in his mind, twisting his emotions and feeding off every insecurity he had. Even as he and Stephanie tried to rebuild their love, that shadow of doubt never left him. It sat there, silent but alive, growing stronger every day until it completely consumed him. From the outside, their reconciliation looked like a fresh start, but underneath it all, it was fragile, built on heartbreak, unresolved pain, and jealousy that never really went away. That bitterness was like a slow-burning fuse just waiting for a spark. No one knew that the cost of all that hidden resentment would soon be unthinkable. Just days before the tragedy, Stephanie was telling her loved ones that things were finally getting better. She sounded full of hope, convinced they had turned the page and were rebuilding the future they once dreamed about. Family and friends wanted so badly to believe her, to believe that the love she and Earl shared had survived the worst of it. The couple was living at the Palazzo, a luxury apartment complex in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles, right on the 300 block of Hauser Boulevard in the exclusive Park La Brea area. It was the kind of place celebrities and entertainment pros loved. High-end amenities, prime location, and just minutes away from the buzz of Hollywood. To outsiders, it looked like a dream life, a comeback story, a fresh chapter for a talented couple. But behind those elegant walls, the tension was unbearable. Every unspoken word, every look, every silence carried weight. And on the quiet morning of December 8th, 2014, that pressure finally exploded. The sun had barely started to rise when Earl Hayes reached for his phone and opened FaceTime, calling none other than Floyd Mayweather around 7 a.m. What happened next would leave everyone, from Hollywood to Detroit, completely stunned. Earl reached out to the one person he saw as more than a boss, more than a mentor, someone he called family. Floyd Mayweather wasn't just his business connection, he was like a brother. Maybe Earl was hoping for advice, maybe he wanted someone to stop him, or maybe he was just looking for someone to understand the darkness that had taken over his thoughts. But by that morning, his mind was in a dangerous place, full of anger, heartbreak, and confusion that had finally boiled over. According to multiple reports, Earl was furious during the FaceTime call, pacing, yelling, and telling Floyd straight up that he was going to end Stephanie's life over what he believed were betrayals that he could no longer forgive. The jealousy that had haunted him for years had finally pushed him to the edge, convincing him that violence was somehow the only answer. It was a heartbreaking and horrifying moment, the kind where no one could say the right thing fast enough to pull him back.
Screaming. So the officers responded immediately, were able to contact the person who made that phone call, get some additional information, and they made a decision at that point to make entry into the location.
Mayweather, desperate and terrified, tried everything to calm him down. Witnesses later said Floyd's voice was pleading through the phone, begging Earl to stop, telling him to walk away, to just leave and file for divorce if things were that bad. He told him, "Don't do something you can't take back." But Earl wasn't listening anymore. His judgment clouded, his emotions tangled in rage and despair, and possibly made worse by substances both he and Stephanie had reportedly used that night. Then came the moment that would haunt Floyd Mayweather forever. Through that tiny phone screen, he suddenly heard chaos. Earl and Stephanie shouting, her voice cracking in fear, her screams piercing through the speaker. Then came a chilling silence, the kind that makes the whole world freeze for a second. And before Mayweather could even react, bang! The deafening sound of gunshots blasted through the line, echoing through the phone as the unimaginable happened in real time. Around 10 gunshots tore through the quiet of that Los Angeles morning, each one ending a dream that had once shined so bright. Stephanie was struck multiple times, in the head, torso, and legs, as Earl unleashed a storm of bullets that left no room for survival. The woman he once said he couldn't live without was gone in seconds, taken by the very person who claimed to love her most. It was a moment of pure tragedy, a life so full of promise, ended by the twisted need for control that had overtaken him completely. Moments later, Earl's face reappeared on the FaceTime screen, and what came next was chilling. With a calmness that froze Floyd Mayweather to the core, Earl reportedly said that he had just killed Stephanie, and now he was going to take his own life. Before Mayweather could even process the horror of what he'd heard, another gunshot rang out through the phone, the sound of Earl turning the weapon on himself, ending everything in one final, irreversible act. Neighbors inside the upscale apartment complex were jolted by the noise. First by Stephanie's terrified screams, then by the echo of those gunshots that shattered the early morning silence. Panicked calls flooded 911 around 7:30 a.m., reporting a possible domestic shooting in progress at the Palazzo Apartments. Within minutes, LAPD officers arrived at the scene, the 300 block of Hauser Boulevard. But as they approached the couple's unit, they found the bedroom door locked and no response from inside. Unsure what they were walking into, officers quickly shifted the situation to a barricade scenario, calling in the SWAT team to handle it with extreme caution. The entire area was thrown into chaos. Parts of the building were evacuated, Traffic on surrounding streets was shut down, and law enforcement braced for the worst. Behind those locked doors was a scene of unimaginable devastation, a tragic ending to a love story that had spiraled completely out of control. When SWAT officers finally breached the locked bedroom door, what they found inside was every responder's worst nightmare. Both Stephanie Mosley and Earl Hayes were discovered lifeless in the bathroom, a scene that left even seasoned investigators shaken. Stephanie had been shot multiple times, wounds to her head, torso, and legs, with evidence suggesting she may have been inside or near the bathtub, possibly trying to escape or take cover during those final moments. Earl was found nearby, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Paramedics could only confirm what was already clear. Both were gone. Two bright lives ended in an instant of unimaginable violence. It was a scene impossible to reconcile with the smiling couple seen on red carpets and magazine covers just months before. The glamorous image they'd built together now stood in devastating contrast to the horror inside that apartment. LAPD investigators quickly pieced together what had happened. Evidence at the scene, including the position of the firearm, ballistic tests, and the total lack of forced entry, pointed directly to a murder-suicide. Within days, those findings were officially confirmed. On December 10, 2014, the LAPD released a public statement. Investigators had determined that Earl Hayes shot and killed his wife, Stephanie Mosley, before turning the gun on himself. It was a tragedy that sent shockwaves through both the entertainment and music industries, leaving fans and friends heartbroken and searching for answers. Autopsies were conducted by the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, with Assistant Chief Ed Winter confirming Stephanie's multiple gunshot wounds and noting that toxicology tests would be run for further insight. However, those results were never made public. Only the grim confirmation of their causes of death was released. Police later reached out to Floyd Mayweather, not as a suspect, but as a witness, since he had seen the horror unfold live over FaceTime. He cooperated fully, and no charges were filed. His role was that of a man who tried to stop the unthinkable and had to live with the memory of watching two lives vanish right before his eyes. Floyd Mayweather had tried desperately to talk his friend down, pleading with Earl to step back from the edge of that horrific decision. But once the news broke, the entire entertainment world was left in total shock and heartbreak. No one could believe that the same couple who seemed to have it all had met such a tragic end. Trey Songz, the man whose name had become tangled in Earl's jealous suspicions, took to Twitter on December 9, 2014, posting an emotional tribute that read, "R.I.P. baby girl, once an angel on earth, now watching over us from heaven. You'll be missed, but never forgotten. Love." His message was tender, calling her baby girl, but carefully sidestepping any mention of the painful rumors that had helped ignite this tragedy. It was clear he wanted to honor her memory with respect, not controversy. Rihanna also shared a heartfelt post on Instagram, uploading a picture of Stephanie with a simple caption, "R.I.P. Stephanie." Meanwhile, Chris Brown posted his own tribute, remembering her as always the coolest person from their days working together on tour. The sadness poured in from every corner of the industry. Dancers, singers, and actors all united in grief over a woman whose energy had brightened every stage she touched. VH1, the network behind Hit the Floor, released a public statement filled with sorrow. "We are incredibly saddened to hear about the passing of Stephanie Mosley, who was a big part of the Hit the Floor family. Unfortunately, we will not be commenting further as we wish to keep details private out of respect for all parties involved. Our hearts and prayers go out to her family and friends." In the days that followed, Stephanie's colleagues on Hit the Floor launched a GoFundMe memorial fund to support her loved ones. Donations poured in from fans and fellow performers, eventually raising over $8,700. It wasn't about the money. It was about love, grief, and the entertainment community coming together to honor a woman who had inspired everyone she met, now gone far too soon. What makes this tragedy even more haunting is how completely hidden it all was. Earl's public image painted him as calm, loyal, and loving, a man devoted to his wife and his music. Friends, colleagues, even his own life coach swore they had never seen a single sign of violence in him. To everyone who knew him, the idea that he was capable of such horror felt absolutely impossible. But that's the chilling part, isn't it? The monster doesn't always show itself until it's too late. Sometimes it hides behind smiles, romantic photos, and sweet captions, a mask covering the darkness quietly growing underneath. While the world sees a happy couple, behind closed doors, something much darker can be eating away at the foundation. Jealousy, insecurity, obsession, building until it explodes in ways no one could ever predict. This heartbreaking story reminds us that what we see online is rarely the full truth. Behind every perfect post, there could be pain no one's talking about. Stephanie's light was stolen far too soon, and her story still leaves us asking, how could love turn into something so deadly? If this story gripped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can learn about Stephanie's legacy and the lessons her story leaves behind. And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this tragic and unforgettable case.